The ground itself trembles, a rhythmic pulse of impending doom under the weight of three massive, converging armies. Above, the sky is no longer blue. Dark storm clouds choke the horizon, mirroring the shadow advancing toward the heart of Judah.
From his palace balcony, King Jehoshaphat watches the dust clouds rise like pillars of judgment.
A messenger sprints into the courtyard, his lungs burning, his body coated in the grime of the road.
He collapses to his knees, his hands shaking violently as he gasps out the terrifying news. The enemy is here. Jehoshaphat grips the cold stone railing, his knuckles turning white as he stares into the abyss of a war he cannot win.
In the face of annihilation, the king does not reach for his steel. He does not call for his generals. Instead, a decree echoes through the streets of Jerusalem. The great gates swing open, and a river of people, men, women, and even the smallest children flood the temple courts.
There is no sound but the shuffling of feet. Jehoshaphat stands at the altar, his hands trembling as he raises them toward the silent heavens. "We have no power against this great multitude," he cries out. Then
he drops to the floor, his forehead touching the dust in total surrender. Behind him, a sea of thousands follows suit,
falling prostrate in a heavy, collective silence that hangs over the city like a shroud.
Suddenly, the silence is shattered. Jehaziel steps forward from the crowd,
his voice ringing out with a supernatural clarity that cuts through the thick air of anxiety. "Do not be afraid," he proclaims, pointing toward the gates. "The battle is not yours, but God's." The words act like a spark in the darkness. Jehoshaphat stands,
the trembling in his hands replaced by a sudden iron resolve. He looks at his people, then at the choir leaders. He makes a choice that defies all military logic. They will not march with shields in front, they will march with songs. The sun rises over the hills, casting long shadows across the valley of Ziz. The soldiers of Judah prepare for march, but as they reach the front lines, they step aside.
A phalanx of singers in pure white robes takes the lead. They carry no swords, only harps and cymbals. As they begin to chant, "Give thanks to the Lord, for his mercy endures forever," the melody rises, echoing off the jagged valley walls like a thunderclap.
Below, in the enemy camp, the first notes of praise strike like physical blows.
Confusion erupts. A soldier, gripped by sudden madness, strikes his own ally. Panic spreads like wildfire through the ranks. The three armies, once united in hate, turn their blades against one another in a frenzied explosion of violence.
Jehoshaphat watches from the ridge as the enemy devours itself. The shouts of war are drowned out by the rising crescendo of the choir.
By the time the song ends, the valley is silent.
Not a single enemy stands. The threat has vanished into the dust, defeated by a song. The king descends into the field, his people following in awe. They find the ground carpeted not with blood, but with gold, jewels, and precious armor. For 3 days, they gather the abundance, their hands trembling with the wonder of it all. As the trumpets sound their return to Jerusalem, Jehoshaphat stands upon the temple steps, watching his people celebrate a victory they did not have to fight.
Faith has turned the tide without a single drop of Israelite blood.
They learned that day that the greatest strength is not found in the sword, but in the total surrender of the heart.